Welcome and thank you for joining me. And I did not want to do this video about George Lopez. I really don't watch him. I did watch his show. I've seen some stand-up shows that he's done, but he's not someone or a comedian that I watch regularly. He is no Cat Williams or Paul Mooney, but everyone has done a video and they have moved on about his racist rant. And a lot of people are taking up for him. A lot of people are saying, it's racist. He should apologize. Obviously he didn't apologize. He didn't do anything. But what I'm hearing every time these videos come up is that he was doing a show. He basically said, there's two things Mexicans don't do: marry black and do not park in front of, their house. And I did not find that offensive at all, because I really don't see a lot of black and Mexican couples. I really haven't. So it wasn't something that's offensive to me, because working basically for the state, I know how a lot of Hispanic people here in America view themselves. When I was doing my work, basically they would say, yes, they're Hispanic, they're Spanish speaking, but then they would go down to the race, and you have all the different races listed. I think maybe once or twice I've seen someone who actually admitted to being Spanish speaking and black, but the majority of them say they are Spanish speaking and white. So when they come over here, when they get to slap on that title of being white, they think they are now better than. And with the dynamic of white and black in this country, they think they are better than black people, which is laughable. But what really gets on my nerves is every time I hear this story about George Lopez, they say that a black woman jumped up and flipped him off, which I've heard other stories and I've researched it and looked at it. This woman is not a black woman. And again, everybody wants to be inclusive. Black people want to be inclusive. Everybody is trying to subscribe to that one drop rule. This woman is actually biracial. She is black and Mexican, which she came there to see the show. And then when he said that joke, she didn't jump up and flip him off. She actually stood up after he said that joke. And what's really interesting is it shows that people judge you by your skin. So if they see a lot of melanin in your skin, they will automatically put you in a certain group. So basically, from what he could see where he was standing, he saw a black woman, and other people, they saw a black woman, but she was actually Mexican and black. She was biracial. So she jumped up because she wanted to be the exception to what he was saying. He was saying, black and Mexicans, they don't marry, they don't get together. So obviously there would be no black and Mexican children. So she stood up and she actually put her hands up and turned around to show that, hey, I'm black, I'm Mexican, so your joke is not truthful. Just playing along with it. And had he been smart, he could have found that out. He could have said something to her. He could have inquired why she was standing up, because she didn't, flip him off or anything. She just stood up. After he started calling her a bitch, that's when she flipped him off. You know, she even brought a friend. You know, he spoke to a reporter and he said, you know, they were not trying to be disrespectful. They came there to see the show. And what he didn't know is that, you know, she was black and Mexican. So really, I believe the reason he never addressed it is because he didn't further want this in the media to make him look like a jackass, like the jackass that he is, to say what he said. But it just so happens at his show there is a biracial woman who is half black and half Mexican there. And I really hadn't been paying attention to him ever since I heard that he divorced his wife after, you know, she went through major surgery, and I believe she gave him one of her kidneys. I'm not sure which organ, but I believe it was a kidney. But yeah, I believe, you know, he's been trying to stay low and let it die down that he looks like an absolute idiot, an absolute asshole, and a dumbass, that he went off on this woman who he thought was black, but she turned out to be the very thing he was making a joke about, which makes him look like a dumbass. But here, to further push home what I'm saying as far as people who are Hispanic, you know, Spanish speaking, especially if they are close to white or are white, Spanish speaking people, they think when they come here to America that they are assimilated into white. And it's just like when black people thought that during the civil rights movement, when we were integrating, that would somehow level things off, make things better for us, make us all be treated equal if they had to deal with us and we were all mixed up together. Obviously, you see, you know, we're worse off for it. We don't have any businesses, we don't own anything, nothing. Now, the same thing is happening to everyone else, especially all of these Agent Orange supporters, these Donald Trump voters who identify as white. Here is a article, and I'll leave it in the description box. It says, the Mexican owner of a steakhouse in Grangridge, Indiana. I'm here in Indiana, and I have stressed how horrible it is here, whose wife voted for President Trump, was scheduled to be deported Friday. It's not funny. It's just the whole thing, you know. She voted for Trump to actually deport her husband. That's what's funny to me. Roberto, 43, who immigrated to the U.S. illegally nearly 20 years ago, was attending his yearly U.S. Immigration and Custom Enforcement check-in last month when officials arrested him in the state capital of Indianapolis. The family, which is made up of his wife, Helen, I wouldn't be surprised if she's white. I couldn't find a picture. And their 4 U.S.-born children, has implored a federal immigration judge in New York to take up their father's case in an effort to buy him some more time in the country. And I believe I can leave it there at that. But it is hilarious. I mean, I think it's much needed because people in unison, white people, some mentally challenged black people, Asian people, and a lot of white identifying Hispanic people voted for Trump. They assimilated into the American culture, which the American culture is European culture. And that's how they identify. Now, because they don't really understand Europeans here in America, they're basically going out of their damn mind. They're going ape shit, and their birth rate is low. They are dying. It's drugs. They can't procreate appropriately to sustain their group. It is suicide. It's a lot of things. It's basically coming to an end. Rome is burning. And now everybody who they swept in to prop up their numbers, they're going to purge. That's what they're doing now. They are purging everyone who they, would prop up their numbers. Now they want them gone. Now, all of these white identifying Spanish speaking people, all of these Asians, they're all going to get the treatment. They all, they were gung-ho about Trump and his racist ass rhetoric against black people. He didn't give a damn about black people. A lot of these racist people saw it as a license to do whatever they wanted, be racist, kill black people, just attack black people. And you see it happening all the time. Just people hunting black people and beating up black people. And then a lot of these people who identify with the white culture, now they're getting deported. They are seeing that you were used as black people were used, as Native Americans were used, and you are seen as an other. You were just used and given a title so you could help them out. Now that they don't need you anymore, as they do with their cargo, they get rid of it. They put it into slavery, which is, the prison system. Or they will all and out just destroy it, kill it. So this is what's happening as far as this immigration. And it's just the irony of, the wife voting for Trump. If this woman is white and she has, children by this Mexican man, what does that say about their marriage? What does that say? She, even though she is married to him, even though she gave him children, she still is colluding with her group. Even though she takes care of these children, even though she so-called loves these children, even though she has been married to her Mexican husband for all these years, she still is for the white power structure, white supremacy within the country. And it's hilarious because, I wonder how he feels. I would like to ask him that question. But pretty soon, a lot of people who look down on black people, who try and step on black people, who think they're better than black people. There are Asian people who think it. There are Spanish speaking people who think it. There are white Arabs who think it. They're going to get their wake up call. They're going to get the treatment. And I'm just going to sit back and I'm going to enjoy it and I'm going to laugh. Because from what happened to us, what happened to the Native Americans, you should have known. I mean, how many treaties have been broken? How many promises have been broken? How many people have these creatures used? Honestly, this comes as no surprise. Karma, it's karma, because a lot of people have been, coming into the black neighborhood, coming into the black community, taking our money while looking down on us like we're dirty and disgusting. And it's judgment. It really is. Everybody's going to have to get the treatment. Everybody's going to be judged accordingly. And like I said, for all the people who don't believe in prayer, I do have an update on a video that I did. It was about a man who was in the grocery store, and he was being followed by a white male who worked in the store. And like I said, everybody put their heads down. The black people, they didn't want to say anything. They tried to pretend like it wasn't happening. And I stood there, I watched, and I did do a video about him being followed. So ironically, this past weekend, I happened to be going to a store in that area. Lo and behold, I see 6 to 7 fire trucks at this store. There was a fire in the store. Everybody had to get out of the store. The sprinklers were on, the lights were flashing. The firefighters were in the store. All of the staff had to come out the store. And people were in there shopping. People had to leave the stuff where it was. All of the workers were out there. And they lost hundreds of thousands of dollars because they had to shut the store down for the day. And I was like, oh, thank goodness. Thank the Most High, because they deserve this. They were messing with this man. They did not treat him like a preferred customer, called him crazy, called him insane, insulted him. And then you had the Negro manager, and then these Negro women laughing it up, and agreeing, with the manager that, oh no, the guy wasn't following him. He wasn't being racist towards this black male, even though the black male was yelling, leave me alone. Let me shop in peace. But yeah, I just wanted to give that update and show, even if you feel like it's helpless, even if you feel like there's nothing that you can do, you can always pray to the Most High against your enemies. Always do it. It doesn't matter how little or how big it is, just continuous. It is one of the prayers that I try to do daily, is pray against everyone who has an evil eye against us as a people, who has an evil intent in their heart because of who we are, the chosen. So I will leave it there. Leave a comment below. Let me know what you think, and I will see you next time.